It's been weighing on my heart, this question that came up on Friday, especially with regard to healthcare workers who are actively in the role of caring for the sick and subjected to the abuse of others that they're caring for. Abuse is abuse is abuse. And being repeatedly subjected to any abuse keeps us locked in a triggered state of hypervigilance. This is the stuff of trauma, right here. It's traumatic, it's exhausting, it's harmful to our health, to our system, to our well-being. It hurts us. Whether we're subjected to it through vocation, through indoctrination, through habit, love, war, peace, regardless of its cause or origin, abuse is abuse is abuse, whether it's incurred from family, friend, foe, or stranger. Let's name it. Let's not shy away from it. Let's be clear what it is. Let's actually feel into what it is so we're clear what it is. The specifics may vary, but we all know what it feels like when we've been abused, don't we? But let's also learn what it feels like when we are completely stressed and distressed, and know that taste as well. Because it's not uncommon to conflate the two, or to end up trying to manage something that is really dangerous and unhealthy for us by overriding signals that tell us that we're being triggered. So be careful. Begin to notice these gradations. It's really important. Either way, these stressful and traumatic experiences, they have an effect. They have an impact. And before we can do anything about them, we have to notice their presence. Feel into the impact in order to know what to do to ease our own suffering. Notice how the body, the dear body, takes the hits, absorbs the impacts, hardens, contracts, tightens out of protection. Makes sense, doesn't it? Of course it's going to do that. Of course. And notice how the hearts and minds also take the hits, absorb the impact, get charged up and harden out of in protection. Of course they're going to do that. That makes good sense. These are signals, these are signs, and the organism knows what it needs to do when it's being threatened in any way. And stress is also a threatening situation to our well-being. So it's going to react, and that stress is going to have an impact. But what do you do to release that impact? See, I'm also very interested in that, and you should be too. What do you do to release that impact? How do you release that impact? When do you release the impact of stress? Little or big, when do you release it? Deliberately so. And if it's not considered, or if it has never been considered, please consider it now because it's for your welfare. How do you release the residue of stress, of distress, of abuse from the day, from any moment in the day, of the many moments of the day that arise in the course of a day, a month, a year, a life? Sidebar. As a psychotherapist, I would realize at the end of the day that my body was completely stressed, having absorbed some of the impact of sitting with each person and wanting to do my best to hold space for them, but recognizing at the end of the day, my body was really pretty darn tight. And I needed to take care of it because if I didn't, it actually really hurt a lot. So I ask all of you, because I am sure that at some point today, something is likely to get in your craw and activate you. Bigger or lesser degrees, to some degree or another, it's going to activate you. And what will you do then? How will you release that stress that just got activated? And in the moment of the activation, dependent upon the situation, we may or may not be able to respond. We may or may not be able to react, to say what's on our mind, to speak our truth. We may not be able to raise our voice without incurring some other wrath from some other direction, right? So the first order of business actually is to always stay safe. You do your best to stay safe. However, you need to stay safe. Stay safe by not causing harm here and not causing harm out there, as best as is possible. Nothing's perfect. Oh my gosh, nothing's perfect. We live in a gray zone. a gray zone. So we have to learn how to stay safe and how to keep the oxygen mask on before, during, and after we are helping someone else. Before, during, and after. And we must remember the context. Look around, because this world is on fire, literally and figuratively. We live in a highly charged, highly changeable, unpredictable world right now. More than ever before, we see it in spades, where everything and anything can happen. Well, I learned one of the best lessons for working with unpredictability from airplane stewards. Before each flight, they do their little routine. They stand up and they say, they're going through the whole emergency, running down of what happens during an emergency. They say something to the effect of, in the event of an emergency, an O2 mask is going to drop down in front of you. That's the first clue of how vital oxygen is, folks, right there. The oxygen mask is going to drop down in front of you. Put the oxygen mask on yourself before you help the person next to you, whether it's your beloved, whether it's a child, whether it's you're an elder, whether it's someone you know or not. Put the oxygen mask on yourself and keep it on while you're helping yourself and other people, and while the plane is landing safely on the ground as best as it can. And this is important. It's important. It's saying that we have to take care of ourselves, lest we ourselves become the obstacle to our own or others' safety and welfare. It's about staying alive. It's about staying as safe as possible, given the unpredictability of the disaster. Well, I'd say those are wise words to live by, all of us, because we live in pretty unpredictable times. Because without the O2 mask, we will literally become a liability, not an asset. We will either start to flounder around in confusion or go unconscious from the lack of O2. Or we'll start grabbing at other people's masks in order for us to try to stay alive. That's not you. That's not you being self-centered. That's the organism knowing what it needs to stay alive. Give me air, please. It's wise, smart. This is what the organism does. But that second part of keep the oxygen mask on while the plane is coming in for an unexpected landing onto the ground, onto solid ground or water ground, out of the sky. Keep breathing and get onto solid ground, terra firma. Solid ground helps us sense us. We can then sense the body breathing and sense how it's doing in real time. Feel breathing and checking in for how is it going inside? Now I can catch my breath and actually just tune in. Before there was only survival, just give me air. Now that I have air and ground, I can say, holy smokes, boy, I'm spinning around. I'm hurt, I'm angry, I'm freaked out, I'm enraged, I'm grief, I'm shaken. I'm in pain. I can know these things because I've landed on the ground and I'm breathing. Feel this. We want to feel the pain. We want to sense that, sense enough. Yes, we can also, by the way, sense joy and sense all of the beautiful qualities as well, but that's for another day. Right now, I'm talking about keep the oxygen mask on, when we're feeling a lot of distress. Feel this. Once you feel it, now you can begin to soothe. Soothe is what it's all about. Then it's all about soothing. This is what a parent would do. This is what an elder would do. This is what we would do with a youngin. This is what you do with yourself. Soothe in real time as best as you can with whatever practices you know are available to you. Oh my goodness, that's wise. Please. Move, shift, soften the body, adjust the posture, open breathing, open the airways so the breath has room to release the fire that's inside. Open the body so it has room instead of that cramped space that's tightening up. It's counterintuitive, but do it anyway. Take a big inhalation, a big exhalation, sigh. What's possible given what's going on? This may seem hard, but this is what we're really trying to learn in the practice. In real time, in the practice of mindfulness, we're trying to feel in what is going on in here. And let me keep the oxygen mask on. Let me stay grounded and let me soothe, the high art of soothing. Stay safe, soothe. So where are we now? All right, I'm going to pause right here. I'm going to pause right here because we're going to practice this in our meditation. Okay? We're going to learn how to check in real time Feel how it's in, what's going on inside, and learn how to soothe the fires that are within.